At an airport, a plane is about to take off when suddenly, police start shooting at it. Inside a helicopter, Franklin knows a crash is imminent, and memories of his life flash before him. He's a tech blogger, Remedy, who writes about achieving perfect health. Seated next to him is Sig, the head of a pharmaceutical company that released a highly addictive and deadly drug, causing thousands of deaths. This all began 3 months ago. Franklin, desperate to get an interview with Anton, a health and tech expert known for working on ways to achieve perfect health without medicine, landed a job as a ticket taker at one of Anton's exclusive events. Unfortunately, Franklin arrived late, leaving a bad impression. He didn't fully understand how to scan the tri-bands worn by attendees to check their tickets, and after making a mistake, his boss yelled at him. Luckily, his co-worker Jala stepped in to defend him. They hit it off, and Franklin asked her out, but instead of giving him her number, Jala set the alarm on his phone for later, so he could meet her after the presentation. Determined to attend Anton's presentation, but unable to afford a ticket, Franklin met with his friend Andy, who had stolen and hacked a tri-band. With it, Franklin snuck past the guards backstage, just as Anton arrived with his assistant Ingram. Franklin tried to stay hidden, but Anton noticed him and asked who he was. Instead of being upset, Anton seemed intrigued and even guessed that Franklin's tri-band wasn't his. He let Franklin stay for the show. Anton took the stage, greeted by an enthusiastic audience, except for 2 attendees, Renee and Calvert, who seemed unusually serious. Anton introduced his invention, the tri-band, which scans a user's DNA, tracks their health, and provides personalized advice on when to eat, exercise, and take medicine. But today, Anton had bigger news: the new tri-band 5, which could help users make healthy choices naturally, without any reminders. It would also reduce the need for medicine, even for conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, and addiction. Backstage, something suspicious was unfolding. One of the guards tased his partner and rushed to the stage, bumping into Franklin in his haste. The guard fired his gun in the air, accusing Anton's company of secretly controlling everyone through the tri-band. Just as the attacker moves in, Franklin grabs a wheeled table and slams it into him, giving the guards the chance to take control and arrest the guy. Renee and Calvert are not pleased with how things went, but Anton is thankful for Franklin's help and promises him an interview later. Before leaving, Anton points out that Franklin's hand is bleeding. After getting his hand bandaged, the head of security takes Franklin's tri-band as part of the investigation. Once the security guy leaves, Franklin notices Anton's ring on the ground and picks it up. As soon as he does, his phone rings with Jala's alarm, reminding him of their plans. While Franklin waits for Jala at the restaurant, he inspects the ring. When the waitress checks on him, she touches the ring, and suddenly time rewinds. Everything plays out exactly as it did before, including the alarm on his phone. Realizing the ring has the power to reverse time, Franklin becomes nervous but hides the ring under his bandage. He discovers the ring resets the past by 57 seconds, but after use it needs time to recharge. When Jala arrives, they decide to go somewhere nice, and during their date, they get to know each other better. Jala is an artist, and Franklin shares that he writes about the impact of technology on health, with some of his articles even making it into newspapers. As their date progresses, Jala kisses Franklin, and they head back to his messy apartment. While things heat up, Jala spots a woman's purse in the closet and assumes Franklin has a girlfriend. She tries to leave, but Franklin rewinds time and hides the purse. However, Jala then notices a picture of a woman, and Franklin is forced to reset the moment again, hiding both the purse and the picture. After successfully navigating these awkward moments, Franklin and Jala spend the night together. The next morning, as they enjoy breakfast, Franklin's car gets towed. He tries using the ring to stop it but doesn't act quickly enough, so now he has to find money to get his car back. Inspired by a TV ad, Franklin heads to a casino, where he uses the ring's power to win money repeatedly. Exactly what I would do first, actually. Take all the money. His success draws attention, including that of Calvert, who watches suspiciously from afar. With enough money, Franklin buys a new car, but his greed kicks in and he returns to the casino to win more. This time, the staff catches on and attacks him. Franklin rewinds time, tries to sneak away, and even considers leaving the money behind. But the staff always finds him and beats him up in the parking lot. Just when things look bad, Calvert arrives and intervenes, allowing Franklin to escape with a warning never to return to the casino. Later, Calvert invites Franklin to lunch, trying to get him to confess how he managed to win so much money. Franklin plays it cool, claiming he's just lucky. Calvert then suggests Franklin meet with Sig, but Franklin refuses since Sig is responsible for the deadly medicine. Calvert gives Franklin his card anyway, just in case. A while later, Jala visits Franklin's apartment and is surprised to see he's upgraded his furniture. As she uses his computer, Jala notices a wallpaper of a woman. Franklin explains that the woman is his twin sister who died 4 years ago in a car accident. She had been prescribed Sig's medicine, which turned her into an addict and led to her death. Franklin admits that while he writes serious articles for newspapers under his real name, he also runs a blog under the pseudonym Remedy, where he exposes corrupt companies like Sig's. Jala calls him a hero and promises to keep his secret. Franklin surprises Jala with new painting supplies and they prepare to go for a ride in his new car. Just then, Franklin gets a call from Anton, who's ready for the interview. Ingram arrives to pick him up, and when Franklin reaches Anton's office, he's given 2 tri-bands, one for himself and one for Jala. During the interview, Anton reveals his goal to eliminate the need for medicine. His new invention, powered by quantum particles, aims not only to prevent illnesses but to reduce accidents as well. Anton ends the interview by encouraging Franklin to follow his sense of justice. Later that evening, Franklin finds himself contemplating whether or not to accept the meeting with Sig. He's torn, wondering if it's worth the risk to make Sig confess his crimes. Angela, his conscience and motivator, encourages him to go for it. The next day, Calvert introduces Franklin to Sig. The tension in the air is palpable as Franklin wastes no time mentioning his sister, letting the pent-up anger flow as he punches Sig square in the face. But before things can escalate, Franklin rewinds time, this time playing it cool and pretending to respect Sig. As they chat, Sig brings up Franklin's uncanny luck at the casino and proposes a bet. If Franklin can correctly guess what happens after Sig whistles, he'll pay Franklin $100,000 for every article praising his company. If Franklin fails, he'll have to write 5 articles for half his current rate. Franklin agrees and guesses a dog will come. But when Sig whistles, one of his models appears to kiss him and give him a massage instead. Not wanting to lose, Franklin rewinds time and guesses correctly. Now he's got a new job working for Sig. After Franklin leaves, Sig grows suspicious and tells Calvert that Anton must be behind this, deciding to keep Franklin close. That evening, Franklin meets with Jala, who expresses concerns about this new job, saying it feels like selling out. Franklin explains his true intentions: to gain Sig's trust, access his files, and expose the company for its corrupt practices. He promises to use the money for good, to improve their lives. To prove his devotion, Franklin brings out his sister's ring and proposes to Jala, who eagerly says yes. The next day, Franklin pitched the idea of a big event-style piece to rebrand the company in a few months. Sig likes the idea and gives Franklin his own office in his mansion. When left alone, one of Sig's models tries to seduce Franklin, but he firmly turns her down, stating he's committed. This frustrates Sig, who has been spying on him, hoping to gather blackmail material. He orders Renee and Calvert to develop a plan to discover how Franklin performs his trick. Soon, Franklin and Jala move into a beautiful new home to start fresh. Sig invites them on a trip to Miami via his private plane, but insists they leave their tri-bands behind, under the guise of company policy. In truth, Sig believes Anton is helping Franklin through the tri-band. Once in Miami, the group hits a casino, and Franklin starts winning again using the ring. Despite Sig and security's attempts, they can't detect any foul play. Meanwhile, Renee befriends Jala, trying to get information out of her, but Jala knows nothing. While Franklin and Jala are dancing later that night, Franklin spots Ingram watching them. He quickly hides the ring in his pocket. Moments later, a man approaches the group and opens fire, aiming at Sig. Jala gets shot in the chaos, and Franklin immediately rewinds time. When the moment resets, Franklin takes action, knocking the assailant out with a bottle before he can shoot anyone. The next day, Franklin is hailed as a hero by the media. Angela reminds him of her upcoming art exhibit, and Franklin promises to attend. But during a newscast, Franklin recognizes the shooter. The man's wife had worked for SIG and mysteriously died at the office with no media coverage. The man calls for an investigation, claiming SIG is blackmailing everyone. Franklin decides to take matters into his own hands and asks Renee for the dead woman's file, under the pretense of cleaning up the story. Renee agrees to look into it, but secretly warns SIG. Calvert, now suspicious of Franklin, believes the attacks were orchestrated to make Franklin look like a hero. With a plan forming, SIG brings the file to Franklin, but it's empty. SIG blames Renee for the incompetence and offers Franklin a gift for helping expose problems in his company. Later, SIG and Franklin are at a bar out of town, sharing shots. SIG gifts Franklin a new car, then leads him upstairs, where women are waiting. Franklin tries to refuse, but quickly realizes his drink has been spiked. Helpless, he's dragged into the room while SIG records everything for blackmail. When Franklin wakes up, it's the middle of the night. He rushes home in his new car, only to find Anton at his house, having purchased all of Jala's art. Anton teases Franklin for working with SIG, then leaves, allowing Jala to confront Franklin for missing her art event and coming home smelling of alcohol. The two argue, and when Franklin points out she's been enjoying the money he's been making, Jala tries to leave. In the struggle, they both accidentally fall into the pool. Franklin rewinds time and resets the moment, but this time Jala realizes something strange has happened. Franklin confesses the power of the ring, explaining how it works. Jala, feeling betrayed, realizes Franklin had used the ring on her as well, making their relationship feel like a lie. Hurt, she leaves. Determined to end this, Franklin confronts Renee the next day with a gun, demanding the combination to her safe. When she screams for help, Franklin rewinds and tries again, only to accidentally injure her. After several resets, Franklin finally gets the combination and opens the safe, taking all the evidence against SIG. He goes to his friend Andy, asking him to release the evidence during an important basketball game. Although hesitant, Andy agrees after Franklin sends him a large sum of money. As the game begins, Franklin's video exposes SIG's crimes to the world, showing footage of Calvert killing the shooter's wife and revealing the truth behind SIG's deadly medicine. Just as Franklin tries to leave his house, he's knocked out and wakes up at the airport. SIG's guards drag him toward a private plane, where SIG demands Franklin tell the world his video was fake. Franklin refuses, but SIG reveals he has kidnapped Jala as leverage. As they're pushed together, Jala tells Franklin she's proud of what he's done and touches the ring. Using its power, she escapes, running toward the arriving police. Meanwhile, Franklin is forced onto the plane, which takes off. A police bullet hits the engine, causing it to fail. SIG panics and tries to use the ring to rewind time, but 57 seconds isn't enough to stop the plane from crashing. The plane goes down, and while SIG dies in the explosion, Franklin, Renee, and Calvert survive. Anton soon arrives, revealing that Ingram let Franklin have the ring to test it, as the ring is made from quantum crystals Anton discovered. Anton offers Franklin a job, saying he needs someone who can say no to him. But Franklin refuses, claiming the ring's power is just as dangerous and addictive as SIG's medicine. Franklin destroys the ring, returning the tribands to Anton before leaving with Jala to start a life free from the corruption of technology. And technology is what will take you to the next interesting movie recap, if you click on the videos on the right. I upload every other day, so subscribe to come back to the lounge again. Grab your popcorn, enjoy yourself, and see you soon, my friend.